Philip Darman. I'm sometimes dishwasher, sometimes waiter, sometimes cook, sometimes business owner, always the chef and the boss.
My name is Travis. I'm the sous chef at Hardy Park Bistro.
My name is Danielle Keenan and I'm a waitress at Hardy Park Bistro.
I was born in Sydney, Australia, and I lived there till I was about, I think in my late 20s. I went and lived in the UK for a couple of years, and then I came back to Australia, and then I got into the yachting industry.
Tell me about how you started cooking.
My grandfather, and I'd done a few cooking classes and bits and pieces like that beforehand, and my grandfather took me aside and said, maybe you'd make a good chef, Phil, why don't you give it a go? So it was my pop that got me into it. Well, so that's at that time. So then Pop said, why don't you become a chef? And I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And so I started my apprenticeship, and there was a organisation in Sydney at the time that the apprenticeship went for 4 years, and you went to work at a restaurant for 4 days a week, and the 5th day you were sent to college.
So did you like your apprenticeship?
Loved it. Loved it because, like all young people, it was the first time in my life where I was, adding and helping and contributing to what was on around me, and I started to feel some self-worth and started to enjoy what you can do with food. Like food's such an amazing medium. There's so many things and directions you can go, and I started to understand that. Yeah, I had a great time. I have a friend who's still in it from high school. I spoke to the other day, good friend, and he kept saying to me, you should try this yachting, and I was like, something happened at home. It was a catalyst for me going, yep. He called right at the same time. I was in Sydney. I was like, what am I doing? And like 2.5 weeks after that initial phone call, I was on a plane from Sydney to St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands because I was bored. Yeah, I was in Tahiti. We were anchored off Chopu, which is that famous wave. I don't know if you know it. You look at it, it's just a barrel. It's amazing. And all the crew were so happy and having a great time. And I was putting out another great lunch, or doing some, and I was like, I've had enough. I don't, as beautiful as Tahiti is, I don't want to be here, It's time to get on to the next adventure. So it was just over 5 years ago. We opened Hardy Park, and why was because I was ready for the next challenge. And I've been working in the yachting industry for 10 years, and I'd done a few interesting things before that, and it was the one to do. It's the one to try, Can you do it? Are you good enough? Are you prepared to have a go?
It's a quaint little restaurant, it's very family oriented, a lot of regulars around here.
The atmosphere at Hardy Park Bistro is just very, very light, very easygoing, not too high pressured. You have expectations on what you need to get done, and when you meet those expectations, it's a very friendly environment in a very fun environment.
Why did you choose to settle down in South Florida?
Because I fell in love.
Yeah.
I fell in love with my wife Jessica, and Cupid shot his arrow at us, and after I fell in love with Jessica, I fell in love with Florida and the United States, and so this is where we've made our home.
How'd you meet your wife?
Well, she, I used to play a lot of golf, and she was a young college student trying to make ends meet, so she was the beer cart girl at the golf course.
Okay.
You don't play golf, do you? You know how cool that is?
Yeah.
Like, I married the golf cart girl. Like, that is cha-ching.
Time. What are some of your best experiences with cooking?
Well, obviously opening Hardy Park Bistro was a great thing to do. But more so than opening the restaurant was getting in the position about a year ago where everything fell into place, and I started to really feel like I knew what I was doing. So that has probably been that's been the biggest.